So I understand you used to work for an insurance company in the 1970s. What was it like to work with paper records and files before computers became commonly available?
Well, it was quite labour intensive and laborious. Everything had to be written down in longhand on big sheets of paper that were bound into ledgers, and all our communications had to be by letter or memo, so that took a long time. You had to wait for the post backwards and forwards. Things not being indexed on a computer, so your data wasn't captured centrally. Say a policyholder rang up and you had to try and find their policy. Nowadays you just pop their name into the computer and it'd search for it and pull the file out immediately. But in those days you had to go through indexes and pieces of paper, and the whole thing was just much more labour intensive than it is now.
Okay, and how long did you have to work with paper records before they were commonly available?
Well, in the 1980s, the first big revolution was word processors. They became common, and for anybody that used typewriters with carbon paper and Tipp-Ex and so on, a word processor was an absolute fantastic invention. And then after that, probably in the 90s, it became quite commonplace for people to work with computers.
Okay, and were you taught the necessary computer skills at work, or did you have to learn them in your own time?
There was some on-the-job training, but obviously companies liked you to take proper formal training courses, and most companies that were forward-thinking, like insurance companies generally are, would sponsor their staff, maybe give them time off for day release and pay all or part of the cost of going on a proper training course. For instance, I took European Computer Driving Licence and the CLATE certificates, which were just basic formal qualifications to make sure staff were well trained in how to use computers.
Okay, and what do you think were the instant advantages of these computers when they were first introduced into your work?
The data sorting, really, the fact that computers capture the data and can sort it. They are just a machine. You put something in, you can pull something back out. But for any kind of business with record keeping, which basically that's what insurance is, they were absolutely revolutionised the way we work.
Okay. And did many people lose their jobs at your workplace because of less people needed to write the paper ledgers and so on?
Well, it was more like natural wastage. There gradually became fewer and fewer jobs available because the companies just didn't need the same number of staff to handle the work that they did before computers.
Okay. And lastly, do you think the whole introduction of these computers has benefited the world or changed it for the worse?
I think in general, if my personal opinion is it's benefited the world. In some ways you could say it's changed it for the worse in that the unemployment rate's higher, and the introduction of the internet can do wonderful things, but it can also appeal to the lowest people as well. But no, on the whole I think that the computer age is the future.
Okay, thank you.